Welcome to AG's Ace. We are going to discuss a contentious topic, which is racism in cricket. Of course, it is prevalent in other sports too, but I'm going to start from where the Sydney cricket ground incident happened and how it impacted a few things. So basically my point is that once Mohammad Siraj complained to the umpires that he was being abused in racist terms, Bumrah had also been subjected to the same treatment earlier. The umpires basically offered Ajinkya Rahane the option of walking off the field. But Ajinkya Rahane sensibly said no, he stayed on. And after that, the spectators who had indulged in that particular incident were thrown out. But there are wider ramifications. I have a few points to make about how India in future can handle these situations better and what it can do to basically justify its leadership position. So after India players encountered the racist verbal attacks at Sydney, the focus shifted to this aspect of the game. Many players came out saying how they were subjected to verbal racist abuse. In fact, senior players like Harbhajan Singh said that he had been targeted often in Australia in the past in his playing days, not only on his religion, but on his attire, on his turban. All of that came out. But India needs to play a larger role in world cricket by helping dictate terms rather than being reactive. Now, that is a point I want to make. For example, in the world of football, England has played a key role in dictating terms of engagement when it comes to checking or deterring racist abuse in that area. In UK, Canada, and other parts of Europe, there is a definite way in which these incidents are handled. It moves from fines to penalties to boycott, among other things. Now, when Siraj and Bumrah were targeted at Sydney, India was seen as angry, and there were veiled threats of not going to Brisbane for the last test at Gabba. And if you remember, at that point in time, Tim Payne made a very angry comment saying that, well, India is using its powerful position to say so many things about the quarantine rules at Brisbane. And if they don't want to go there, well, then it's just too bad. So there was a certain build-up that the test at Gabba may not happen at all. And what a pity that would have been. But it was basically India's way of showing its anger, saying that you can't have longer quarantine rules. But actually, the issue was somewhat different. It had a lot to do with the Sydney incident. Now, like I said earlier, that even the umpires at the SCG asked Ajinkya if he wanted to walk off, but he sensibly said no. I believe that walking off is not a solution. Staying in and throwing the abusers out instead is a very good solution. If you look at soccer, and I'm going to take you through some of the basic steps that they have, let's admit it that its racist abuse is primarily in Europe targeted at either the blacks or the non-whites. They could be of any color, caste, or creed. That is not important, but it is targeted at them. Now, the players in English football, as part of the rules, will be banned for 6 to 12 games for discriminatory conduct under the new Football Association sanctioning guidelines. So it's between player to player, between two teams. So if any kind of racist abuse is used and it is proved, this is what happens to the players. You can be banned for 6 to 12 games. FIFA and UEFA have imposed a minimum of a 10-game ban for racism or other forms of discrimination. Stadium bans, games played behind closed doors, and closures. Those are the extreme steps which exist and which have been followed intermittently. Fans and figures found to have been involved in racist behavior will be given a suspension of at least 5 games according to FIFA's disciplinary code. This can also involve a stadium ban as well as a fine of at least £15,000 or $20,000. Following Bulgaria, fans making monkey noises towards Tyrone Mings, Sterling, and Marcus Rashford, as well as making Nazi gestures during a Euro 2020 qualifier against England in October 2019, the national team were given a 2-match stadium ban as well as a fine. Now, the point to remember is that teams whose fans have engaged in racist behavior can be hit with points deductions from competitions at both club and at the international level. Croatia were fined €100,000 and handed a 1-point ban in its Euro 2016 qualifying group after they played their qualifier against Italy on a field with a swastika-ish tunnel. They were also ordered to play their next 2 home matches in an empty stadium. Arrests have happened also. Arresting those who have instigated racist behavior or been involved in racist incidents happens less frequently than being punished with fines and bans. So that provision is there, but it is used pretty rarely. Arresting individuals is arguably a more effective method to punishing racist behavior than club fines, on the same level as stadium bans, as it affects the people in question specifically. Greater Manchester Police, this is a stat which has come up, arrested a man on suspicion of racially aggravated public order during the Manchester derby in December 2019. Another home supporter was also seen making racist monkey gestures in the direction of two other players, Fred and Jesse Lingard. And following full time, City immediately issued a statement saying they were investigating the matter with the police and would punish racist fans with live bans. Players have also been asked to be very careful with their Instagram posts, with their tweets, so that there is nothing remotely connected to racism. And if it is found, then obviously action will be taken. A few quick points I want to make is that I believe that India needs to take the leadership position among cricketing nations where racism is concerned. It has the power, it needs to exert it, and it needs to show that it is a thought leader too. And how can you do that? By defining the rules of engagement, by defining zero tolerance. And when I say define, you have got to define the exact steps, as it happens in soccer, as to what can be done to check such a problem in cricket. You have to protect the players basically from being abused on the boundary ropes. This happens often, and quite a few senior players, Indian players, have mentioned, and it's not just targeting Australia, it could happen anywhere in the world, and it has happened in the past too. And India needs to lead the charge with the ICC in coming up with a comprehensive policy against racism, and that is a way to show to the cricketing world that while India or BCCI has the big bucks and they are in a position to dictate terms, but when it comes to this crucial aspect, you need to protect your younger players like Siraj and Bumrah and set an example in front of the cricketing world that India is serious about this, India is taking charge, and India will lead. That's all for now.